Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I welcome you to our weekly sessions on Bhagavad Gita as it is. So today we will be starting a new chapter, chapter number 7. So till now what we have read or what we have heard from Lord Krishna himself is about the various forms of yoga. And now from this chapter onwards we would, and especially in this chapter, we would know about Lord Krishna himself or about the various energies of Lord Krishna. So let's make a start. Shri Bhagavan Uvachaha Mai asaktam anapatha yogam yunjan madashrayah asamshayam samagram mam yatha gyasyasi tatshrinuhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt." So here Lord Krishna emphasizes that we have to understand him and we have to make an effort to know about him, and for doing that our mind should be attached to him. Now to do that, Lord Krishna is saying that, "Oh hear, now hear, O son of Pritha." So it is important to hear from Lord or from the bona fide devotees of Lord, because by hearing about Lord Krishna or hearing about Lord Krishna's pastimes or the pastimes of his devotees, then we would have, then naturally there would be an affection that would grow within us for Lord Krishna. So it is very important to hear. Also in scriptures it is said that hearing is one of the primary forms of services which we can do. So out of the 9, the Vidha Bhakti which is commonly mentioned, so the Shravanam is the foremost, and it is the key one to on the path of devotional service. Now with this in this connection, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada had captured few verses from Srimad Bhagavatam emphasizing on the importance of hearing, and these are the verses. So Shrinvaram Sakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. So it means that by hearing the pastimes of Lord Krishna, so Sakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana, by hearing, by remembering, by glorifying, Hridayantastho hi abhadrani vidhanoti suhrit satam. So this means that by continuously hearing or regularly hearing the pastimes of Lord Krishna, whatever misgivings are there in the heart or the illusion which is there in the heart about ourselves or this material world or our role in this material world, so whatever misconceptions we have, that would be washed away, and that would be taken out by the Lord himself. So Suhrit, who is the friend of all, who is Lord himself, who is sitting within the heart, would be able to clear all of those misconceptions. Then it is said that Nashya Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So thus by constantly serving this Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, which are non-different from Lord Krishna himself, and also serving the devotees. So Nityam Bhagavata Sevya means hearing Bhagavatam and also serving the actual or the living Bhagavatam or the great devotees of Lord. It would bring down all the misconceptions or uh, all the things in our heart, and thus it would help us to elevate on the path of on the bhakti, to the path to the stage of bhakti. So Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. And further it's mentioned that tada rajastamo bhava kama lobha dayaschaye cheta eter anaviddham sthitam satve prasidati. So it's also mentioned that once one is one is situated on the stage of bhakti, then he is not at all he cannot be touched by the various modes of passion and ignorance, and in the various forms like greed, lust, anger. So all of these lower things cannot touch a person, and he is not affected. So that's why it says anaviddham. So cannot be affected by all these agents of modes of passion and ignorance, and thus he is situated in sattva guna and he is very happy. So thus we can understand that by reading, or how much important is to how much important is to hear. So hearing, reading and glorifying the pastimes of Lord, the instructions of Lord on a daily basis is very important in our lives. Verse number 2. Jnanam te aham savijnanam idam vakshyami asheshatah yagyatva neha bhuyonyaj gyatavyam avashishyate. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Now, phenomenal means knowledge which is pertaining to this material world, and numinous means knowledge which is beyond the perception of our vision or the material senses, and which it relates to the spiritual nature or the spiritual energies. So this is the complete set of knowledge. So whatever it exists within the material world, or whatever is beyond this material world, or let's say the spirit, the super soul. So Lord Krishna is going to explain all of this to Arjuna. And the another important thing is that Lord Krishna is saying that I will declare unto you in full this knowledge. So one another thing which we can learn from this verse is that it is because the knowledge the knowledge about the creator of this universe cannot be told or cannot be narrated by anyone else, because the creator is the foremost living being, or Lord Krishna is the foremost of all of everything in this universe. So it can be only be heard from Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna only knows about all the knowledge. So that's why we again the emphasis is led to hear from Lord Krishna, or from the bona fide scriptures about Lord Krishna, or from the devotees of Lord Krishna who know about these scriptures. Verse number 3. मनुष्याणां सहस्रेषु कश्चिद् यतति सिद्धये यतताम् अपि सिद्धानां कश्चिन् मां वेत्ति तत्त्वतः. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So this is also in our day-to-day experiences, that generally, or in mostly is more relevant in current years, that people have lost interest to know about Lord. They don't have any interest to have or to put in these scriptures like Gita, Bhagavatam, Ramayana. and thus it is very relevant that hardly few people are actually interested in going to temple or reading about these books or hearing about these kathas. And then the other aspect is that some people, although are interested in spirituality, but they don't want to be they don't want to follow the rules and regulations, or they don't want to follow the path which is led in the scriptures. So they generally tend to either tend to concoct their own ways, or they want, or they make a they give their own interpretations to the teachings of Lord. Now this is because that people generally don't want to follow the rules, or they don't want to follow as it is what is mentioned in the scriptures. So that is why they also tend to either concoct their own ways of spirituality, or they give their own interpretations, in order that they don't have to, they can make a they can say that they are spiritual, but they are not, but they don't, at the same time they don't have to follow the rules. They can say something which can easily grab the attention of people, and thus they don't want to speak the actual truth which is mentioned in the scriptures. So there is also another reason that people are not able to approach Supreme Lord, because they are not following the instructions of Supreme Lord. So that is how they cannot be perfected in their mission. And also, even for devotees, it is difficult to understand. So only when Lord Krishna is merciful, only then he is revealed, because Lord Krishna is Lord, so he would only reveal to someone whom he desires to reveal to. So, and the degree to which he reveals himself is based on the degree of one who is faithfully serving him with all his capacity, to whatever capacity is possible. If someone is serving him, so to that extent Lord Krishna reveals himself. So there is a famous book which talks about this scientific process of bhakti, which is known by the name of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So in this there is a verse which is very relevant to this discussion, and which says that Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyai. So this means that the names of Lord Krishna, or the form or the pastimes of Lord Krishna, they cannot be understood by we cannot understood by the senses. Okay, so we are hearing, but these, by only the hearing process or the reading process itself is not sufficient to understand this. So so what is the key to understand it? So the key is that sevan mukhi hi jivado swayam eva surati ada. So that means that the taste the taste to understand it, or the capacity to understand the name, form and pastimes of the Lord is only revealed to the extent we perform the devotional service to Lord. So once he is pleased with the service we perform, only then he would reveal to us. So that's why here it is said that it is very difficult to understand, and only few amongst thousands and thousands of people actually know him. So now Lord Krishna would start speaking about his different forms of energy. So verse number 4, Bhumi apanala vayu khammana buddhi evacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakritirashtadha. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence and false ego, all together these 8 constitute my separated material energies. So we can understand that these are the energies which are material energies. So that's these are material energies, and these are the ones uh, which are forming, which are the principal manifestations of this material world. And these energies are the basis of the material creation. So earth, water, fire, air, ether, or the sky, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So whatever we see in this material world is based upon all these energies, and these energies are nothing but part of Lord Krishna. They are not different from Lord Krishna. So they, so these are so that people don't think that these have self manifested. These elements haven't self manifested. They have been bestowed by Lord Krishna himself. अपरेयम इतस्त्वम अन्यम प्रकृतिम विद्धि मे पराम जीवभूतम महाबाहो ययेदम धार्यते जगत. Beside these, O mighty armed Arjun, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material or inferior nature. So, the key word that we should note here is that Prakritim Vidhi Me Param. So, Param means superior. So, now in the previous verse he was mentioning about the inferior energies or the energies which are the basis of this material universe, but in this verse he is referring to the superior energy, and the part of it is the living being. So, living being belongs to a superior energy. So, this is also from this also we can understand that we as living beings or we as souls are not part of this material universe, because the material universe are made up of different form of energy, and we as souls are made up of a different energy, and also it is superior energy. Now, the another thing which we should understand here is that the superior energy is controlling the inferior energy. So, by exploiting the resources of the material or the inferior nature, what we should understand is that the superior energy is controlling, or the superior energy can make use of the inferior energy. And then the another thing is that because these are the energies of Lord, so both the superior and the inferior the inferior energies are the energies of Lord. So, the Lord, or who is the possessor of energy, is controlling these. So, the energetic is controlling these energies. So, this is the another thing we should understand. Just like the nature or the elements of the nature can be used or harnessed by the living beings who are superior energies. Similarly, Lord Krishna can control both these material and superior energies. एतद् योनीनि भूतानि सर्वानिति उपधारया अहम कृत्स्नस्य जगतः प्रभव प्रलयस्तथा. All created beings have their source in these two natures. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. So, again a similar theme emerges in this verse as well, that Lord Krishna is actually the controller of both these energies, whether it is the lower energy or the inferior energy and the superior energy, Lord Krishna is the creator, and the Lord Krishna can also dissolve these energies when required. So we know how this universe comes into being. We have briefly heard about it, and also in details we would hear about it in Srimad Bhagavatam, where we would read that how Lord Krishna expands himself into a form of Vishnu, and he and in that form of Vishnu, or Karanodakashai Vishnu, he lays in the causal ocean, and his uh, from uh, from his body, from the pores of his body, millions and billions and countless universes emerge out of the pores of his body. So when he exhales, all these universe comes into being by sifting through the pores of his body, and when he inhales, all those universes are dissolved. And then, I mean, so just imagine how long is the breath of Karanodakashai Vishnu, that within one breath the universes are created, the manifested, all living beings manifest, all the yugas take place, and then the uh, the universe gets dissolved after he inhales. And then within each of these universes which get created from the pores, which generates from the pores of Mahavishnu, or Karnodakashai Vishnu, then within each, initially these orbs, these universes are empty shells, there is nothing in those shells. So then in the form of another, so Lord, from Karnodakashai Vishnu, another form of Vishnu manifests, who is known as Garbhodakashai Vishnu, and he enters each one of these universes. And when he lies down and then he lies down in this within each of these universes, and from him Brahmaji manifests, and Brahmaji then creates all the living beings, all the immovable things of the universe. He And in this way the universe, or the time of the universe, starts rolling, and gradually different living beings and different species manifest on the various planets, and gradually all the yugas roll into the picture, and finally the and it goes through Treta, Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali Yuga. So in this way, when all the living beings get created, again within each of these living beings, Lord Vishnu enters in the form of Paramatma. Okay, so and his name is Kshirodakashai Vishnu. So in this way we can understand how, I mean, we in a brief we can understand how the universe get created. And also we have experience in our day to day life that whatever material things are around us, they cannot work without the touch, or without the control, or without the guidance of a living being. So maybe from a small bicycle to the biggest aeroplanes, we see that they are themselves lifeless, but when a living being touches it or operates it, then those things start moving, or they start working. So similarly we should understand that this universe, or this inferior energy, or the are controlled by the guidance, or by the Lord Krishna's by Lord Krishna's presence in his various forms. मत्तः परतरं नान्यत् किञ्चित् अस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So, Lord Krishna here is giving a perfect example as to a necklace where the pearls are there together only because there is an invisible string on which the pearls are strung. Similarly, the presence of Lord is there in all the manifestations which we see around us. Otherwise, these things or this whole creation would fall apart. So, for example, in our day-to-day life, we are breathing air, and we are making use of water in various course of our life, and and then we are taking energy from the sun in various forms. So, in all these usage of energy, I mean, if we suddenly pull out these energies from the face of the earth, then we can imagine that life cannot sustain. The life would come to a halt, and suddenly all the life would perish. So, we can understand, and I mean, the way we are leading our life, we had created such circumstances that sometimes nature is bound to punish us. So, let's say we have in the time of, or during the time of festivals like Diwali, we see that the air is so polluted that we cannot breathe outside. The air is so much filled with fumes, toxic fumes, and then we can realize that how precious is the air. And in some major cities, it's a trend that some oxybars have come into existence, and they charge a hefty amount of money for breathing fresh oxygen. Okay. So, we can understand, or we should feel so much gratitude for Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, because they are providing us air free of cost 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and we think that it's all happening on its own. But here Lord Krishna says that everything is depending upon him, everything is resting upon him, and we should treasure, we should cherish, and we should protect all the resources which we are getting from Lord, and we should make better use of it. रसोहम अप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययो प्रणव सर्ववेदेषु शब्दखे पौरुषम निषु. So, in this verse, Lord Krishna further manifests or talks about the various ways he is manifesting in the universe. So, he says that, O son of Kunti, I am the taste of the water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in the ether and the ability in the man. So, when we taste water, or when we see the beautiful moonshine, or we feel the rays of sunshine, or when we hear any sound, any pleasant sound, and when we and in our day-to-day activity, whenever we are performing even the slightest of movements or doing anything at all, we should feel that we should be have gratitude towards Lord, because it's all because of the mercy of Lord. It's all because the a form of energy of Lord Krishna is manifesting. Verse number 9. Punyagandha prithivyam cha te chasmi vibhavaso jivanam sarvabhuteshu tapas chasmi tapasvishu I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat in the fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all ascetics. So here also Lord Krishna mentions that how the beautiful fragrance which we get from the pure earth or from the pristine earth, that fragrance is actually coming from Lord Krishna, and uh, the every life that is living, that is because of Lord Krishna. So again, we should be feeling gratitude towards बीजं मां सर्वभूतानां विद्धि पार्थ सनातनं बुद्धिर्बुद्धिमतम् अस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनम् अहम्. O son of Pritha, know that I am the original seed of all existence, the intelligence of all intelligent, and the prowess of all powerful men. So we should also, as we heard about how the universes come into being, so we can understand that ultimately everything is coming from Lord Krishna. So he is the reason of all of our existence. Balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamasmi bharatarishabha. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life which is not contrary to religious principles, O Lord of the Bharatas. So because everything is coming from Lord Krishna, so the energy for procreation is also coming from Lord Krishna. But what he mentions here is that it is that power of procreation which is not contrary to religious principles. So the religious guideline or the guidance in the scripture is that the energy of procreation should be only used for propagation of children and not any way else. So that is the correct way of procreation. So this is also because of Lord Krishna. Or Lord Krishna is he provides that energy of procreation, which is not contrary to religious principles. Verse number 12. ये चैव सात्विक भाव रजसस्तमसश्चये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वम् अहं तेषु ते मयि. Now after reading the previous verse, some people may think that how is it possible, or they might have some questions about how Lord Krishna is behind the energy of procreation. So now Lord Krishna clarifies here that although everything is coming from him, but he is not dependent, or he is not attached to them. So he says that know that all states of being, be they be goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they are, on the contrary, are within me. So this clearly it clarifies that although all these different forms of energy are within him, or they are manifesting from him, but he is not dependent on them, on all of those. त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैर् एभिः सर्वम् इदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परम अव्ययम्. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. So now Lord Krishna says that it is because that people are too much attached to the manifestation of this material universe, or the manifestations of this lower energy, that we are not able to understand him. He is further saying that Deviheshu gunamayi mama maya durataya mameva ye prapadyante maya metam taranti te. This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So although the word divine is being used, because it is being used because they all the energies, whether it be the inferior energy or it be the superior energy, they are all coming from Lord Krishna. So that's why it is termed as divine. Now he also says in the same breath that it is difficult to overcome, and but those who have surrendered to him can be freed of that, can be freed of these inferior nature. So again the key message is that we have to surrender to him, and by surrendering only we can get rid of this illusions of this material universe. Whatever we are thinking is our, or whatever we see around us and consider it to be everything, all those misconceptions can only go away if we surrender to a bona fide devotee of the Lord. And because why I am saying so is because let's say if someone is bound in some shackles, okay, someone is maybe bound by ropes or bound by a chain, so he himself cannot open himself, or he cannot himself free himself of that shackle, but someone who is unbound only can come and help him. So similarly, a bona fide devotee or a guru is one who is a close associate of Lord Krishna, and he has been bestowed with this transcendental vision and transcendental realizations, and only that guru can help you to understand this message properly, and he can help you to make practical usage of these principles, and he would help you that how you can in day to day life you would be able to practice these principles or this Navvidha Bhakti. And most importantly, a guru can take away all the sins of your whatever past sins you have committed, and he can implant this devotion or this bhakti in your heart. So that is why in Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, it is there is a special importance to surrender to a spiritual master and to take initiation from him, and thus we can get help from the guru to further progress and try to gradually help ourselves or emerge. We can emerge from this darkness of illusion. So there is special importance on taking shelter of Lord Krishna, taking shelter of Diksha Guru, taking shelter of Shiksha Guru, and in this way we can get rid of this illusion. Verse 15. Namam dushritana mudha prapadyante naradhama maya aparita jnana asuram bhavamashrita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Now people might have a question that although Lord Krishna mentions about these various forms of energy, and he mentions that how by surrendering onto him and by hearing about him one can get rid of this material universe, then people might have questioned that why some people or why still people are not taking shelter to him, taking shelter of his lotus feet, or taking shelter of his instruction. So here Lord Krishna himself mentions that there would be some people, there are 4 category of people who generally don't want to take shelter of him despite having all this knowledge at their hand. So the first category is of people who are in plain simple words, they are foolish because they have been they work they work too hard, they work excessively hard just to gratify their senses, because in this way they would be able to earn money and they would be able to enjoy the various things in their life. And their only goal of this life is how to be more and more happy within this material universe, and by doing that they disregard the instructions of Supreme Lord, and moreover they say that they don't have time for all of these things. So this is like you are being offered the most valuable treasure of your life, but you don't accept it. Okay, so such are those people. So they are simply foolish, because they are given the opportunity but they don't take it, because they are busy working for temporary gains in this life. Then there are people who have there are species of human beings who they although they are humans, but they don't have any sense of religiosity. Okay, so maybe they are uncivilized, or they are or even if they are civilized, let's say they have societies, and they have law and order, but they don't believe in Lord, or they are not making any effort to expand their God civilization, or their understanding of God and His teachings. So they are considered that they are the lowest among mankind. So uh, so despite they have enormous amount of wealth or high standards of life, but if their life is devoid of God consciousness, then scriptures say that they are the lowest among mankind. So these are also the people who are neglecting God's advice. The third is people who have knowledge, but it is it has been the actual knowledge has been stolen by illusion. So there are people uh, who have who have brains, who have, I mean, they are very learned, they are scientists, they are doctors, they are engineers. So that means that they have higher mental faculties, but they don't believe in God, and they keep on challenging, they keep on arguing about the presence of Lord. They read about these scriptures, they read about Gita, and they give their own interpretations, and they say that God is not there. All in this Gita it is being referred to ourselves only, so we are the gods. So in this way they come up with various conceptions. So because they are too much intelligent, they think that whatever they say or whatever they think is the correct version of the truth. So these are the people whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. And finally there are people who are atheistic, so they straight away reject the presence of the Lord. So these are the categories of people who never surrendered to Lord. So in our next session we would hear about the categories of people who surrender to Lord. So that's it for today's session. I hope you found it very insightful, especially when we were going through the verses about the energies of Lord. I felt it is, I mean, for many people it is the first thing when they have heard about these varied energies of Lord. So I hope that helps you to improve your consciousness, to help it helps you to feel the presence of Lord everywhere. It helps you to be more grateful to whatever you have, or in your day to day life, whatever you are able to do or whatever you are getting. These all help you to become more grateful to Lord. So I with that hope I would conclude today's session. Hare Krishna.